They're a way of life, and now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that.
Hello, and welcome back to day 2 of the Ben Bosscher Show without Ben Bosscher. Kyle Sandel, John Vicari joining you on this Wednesday morning. It's also day 2 of Lions free agency completed, and we got basically the biggest news of Lions free agency so far this morning. The Jared Goff contract has been restructured. The Lions have created $32 million in cap space. We're going to talk about how I think they should use it, how they've used it so far throughout free agency, because a lot of mini moves were made yesterday by the Lions. First off, I just quickly want to do a quick thing on what the hell happened in sports yesterday. One of the weirdest evenings that we've had in quite some time, just across every sport. Max Crosby, who was traded to the Ravens last week, gets sent back to the Raiders. They cancel the trade. All right, that's pretty weird. Bam Adebayo scores 83 points in the NBA. That's the correct number. Yeah, I just said that right. 83. Team USA loses to Team Italy in the World Baseball Classic at like midnight last night. One of the bigger losses in, I don't even know what you want to say, baseball history as far as this World Baseball Classic goes. Like a major upset, and now Team USA could miss getting out of pool play in the World Baseball Classic. The Pistons win by 1,000. The Wings give up 2 goals in 90 seconds to lose. Like, overall, just a super odd day in the sports world. Those first 2 things really being the weirdest things of all. But let's get back to Lions here. The Lions have restructured Jared Goff's contract. So the new Jared Goff deal, the cap hit for 2026 is now $37.6 million. And then after this year is when it really gets weird. It's been transferred to a signing bonus. The cap hit in 2027, $62 million. And in 2028, $69 million. You know what this tells me? The Lions are going all in 2026. Expect some moves to be made here. Now, they could just use this money to bring back their own guys because, of course, there's still that big-time draft class that has had a lot of hits so far. Those guys got to get paid, extended at least. Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, blah, blah, blah. Brian Branch as well. I don't really expect the Brian Branch deal to get done just because of the injury that he has. But there are major needs for this Lions team. And yesterday they bring back some guys. They bring back Rock Ya-Sin, who is a depth piece at corner that they certainly are probably going to need this season with whatever the hell's going on with Terrion Arnold and both of the safeties having their injury issues. Isaiah Pacheco gets brought in to be the RB2. I like that move. I think it's a pretty good one. $1.8 million for Pacheco, whereas Montgomery was going to be making about $9 million this year. I think that's a pretty good deal. He's not as good as Montgomery, of course, but like to be the RB2, let Gibbs fully swing into things like the RB1 we saw him last year. I think it's a cool move. Malcolm Rodriguez is brought back. Teddy Bridgewater's back. All right, that's pretty cool. But let's talk about that $32 million created for the Lions. I've got a few names for you. No, one of them is not Max Crosby. Let's get that out of the way right now. I've already seen the Lions' reaction. Hey, this means the Lions can swoop in and trade for him. Right, they're going to trade for a guy who just failed his physical, and a team that lost like 10 guys in Baltimore was willing to cancel this deal. So clearly there's some injury stuff going on with Max Crosby. They're not trading for him. I do think he's going to go for a less of a price. Trey Hendrickson, a name that Lions fans have been talking about for not just the last couple days, the last couple years, just signed with Baltimore like 2 seconds before we started the show. So there's the Max Crosby replacement for Baltimore. No, it's not either of those guys. I'm going right back to the offensive line. The left tackle spot is open. Taylor Decker is still a free agent out there. Please don't sign with the Bears. That would be really frustrating. Rasheed Walker, the left tackle of the Green Bay Packers, is who I've got my eyes all over. Former 7th-round pick in 2022 of the Packers. Started 48 of 51 games over the last 3 seasons at left tackle. A pass block win rate of about 94% over the last couple of seasons. That's ranked 11th among almost 70 qualified left tackles in the sport. He's a big athletic run blocker, and that's mainly what the Packers fans and Packers beat writers write about Walker. And the big thing is he's just the best tackle available. Like, if we just want to make this as simple as possible, he's the best offensive tackle, not just still available, but coming into free agency, he was the best guy that's available. You saw Braden Smith, who's a 30-year-old, get a 2-year, $25 million contract from the Houston Texans. He was going to be one of the better guys that was there, but Walker is young. He's 26 years old, just turned 26, only played 4 years in the league. It was an awesome pick by Green Bay. Yes, I'm giving Green Bay some credit here. I don't like it. They got him in the 7th round and turned him into like a pretty good starter in this league. And with this created money for Detroit, yes, I know that they have to pay their own guys, and I'm just happy that clearly Brad Holmes and the rest of this Lions front office is willing to go all in here. Like, we had been waiting for this restructure to happen. It had been the hot topic for Detroit over the last week or so. When are they going to create cap space? They have so many different holes, and they're not going to use all of that money that they do create on one guy, on Max Crosby, on Trey Hendrickson, which people wanted. That's not going to happen. They still have so many needs. They still need to get another edge rusher. They still need to add more depth in the secondary because we don't know who's going to be playing there. Who's going to be the linebacker to replace Alex Anzalone? Is Malcolm Rodriguez going to be in a much bigger role this season? Who knows, because they brought him back. But Rasheed Walker, the left tackle of the Green Bay Packers, is absolutely target number one for Detroit. They want to get this offensive line back to where it was. I don't know if you're going to get your left tackle of the future at pick 17. Like, in an ideal world, you do. That'd be sweet. But I don't know. Elite tackles, they usually don't fall outside of the top 10. So getting them in the middle of the first round, like, maybe you have a shot, but I would rather not take that risk. The Lions are going all in for 2026, John, and I'm just pumped up because we had been waiting for this restructure to happen for quite some time, and we didn't know if it was just going to be Goff or the potential Amon-Ra, Penei Sewell deals to get restructured, but this is a clear indication from Brad Holmes that they're willing to go for it.
Yeah, and the not a bit because it's, breaking down salary cap and stuff like that, but in terms of when we've talked about how the Lions and how a winner is built in the NFL, we talk about how much of the percentage the quarterback is on the cap. And what Jared Goff's contract was previously, there's not really a lot of examples of teams that win a Super Bowl that pay their quarterback that much. And I still have to, churn the numbers.
Unless they're like an elite tier quarterback, you can get away with it. But
sure, which we've established Goff is not.
Correct.
So that $32 million feels good. I mean, regardless of the cap situation beforehand, it's going to be, alleviating and help things. But what the Lions cap situation was before this morning and that report, I wouldn't say dire, but, what wasn't great forecasting. I mean, we had topics yesterday about, all right, go make some moves. We need this, we need that, from a Lions perspective. But do we have enough money? Is there enough to, get back even replacement level guys lost in free agency and back to that replacement level? What other position groups would take a drop? This helps things considerably so. And, kudos to Goff. Quarterbacks don't have to do this, but putting wins above, financials, he's still handsomely paid, don't get me wrong, but good to see, and that the Lions could broach this. And now it's the ball in the court of Brad Holmes, who we all deem a genius around here. Got to make those moves.
Yeah, I mean, the let Brad Holmes cook is, whether you want that to happen or not, it's about to happen. And I'm just excited that the Lions finally got this done. The league renewal is not till today at 4 p.m., so technically they didn't have to get any real cap space or contracts restructured until today at 4, but of course you can still agree to contracts leading up to that. That's why the Max Crosby deal gets rescinded, because nothing is official until 4 p.m. at today, or at least can start to become official. So I'm just interested because they already did clear cap with Taylor Decker being cut and, of course, the David Montgomery trade. Like, they cleared the cap space to get above that level, but then they didn't have any wiggle room. That's why you're seeing Isaiah Pacheco for that short deal. The Cade Mays contract is a team-friendly deal, but that's exactly what it is. It's not a huge deal that they threw out. And so now that they have this money available, are they going to use it to get some of these extensions done and try to finesse their way around, can we pay these guys a lot this year while Jared Goff is on this lower amount, and then in the next couple of years his cap hit really hits? Or is this going to be a move where you go get guys that you need this year? Because Rasheed Walker of the Packers, he's probably a top 10 free agent coming into all of free agency, and everybody else has been signed. Like, there's a couple other depth tackle pieces, because I'm just not really in on the Lions drafting a tackle. I think that it's just, you pigeonhole yourself going into the draft of, we're for sure taking a tackle at pick 17. I've never been a fan of that. You're going into a draft where you don't have a top pick. So, I mean, if you're going in with the first overall pick, yeah, you can figure out who you're going to get. At pick 17, you can't go in saying, like, we're drafting a left tackle no matter what. That just seems like a stretch. So I would rather add a guy in free agency. Larry Borom is not going to be that guy. There's a few other veteran-type tackles that I think are out there. Lions maybe could address this if Rasheed Walker is too expensive, because right now Rasheed Walker is projected a 4-year, $88 million contract. That's from The Athletic. Spotrac has him in that $85 to $90 million range as well, which is, of course, expensive. Like, no doubt about it. But the Lions know that that's the number one position of need. And you go get a guy that clearly is proven in this league. You take him away from Green Bay as well, which that's a cherry on top of the cake right there. Elijah Wilkinson is another veteran guy, 31-year-old tackle from the Falcons, projected to make around $8 million a year. Could be a guy, started 17 games at right tackle last year, so maybe you'd have to do the move of Penei Sewell, this and that. I want Rasheed Walker. That's the dude that I want. You still would have a little bit of money left over to go address that edge. Al-Qadim Muhammad, they've talked about potentially extending him. I like them getting Cam Jordan. That was a guy that the Ben threw out last year at the trade deadline. If the Saints were willing to move off of him, to go get him as a vet edge. He's only projected to make around $8 million, which is cheaper than Joey Bosa, who's in the short double figures. You saw Khalil Mack get that big deal to go back to Los Angeles. Cam Jordan, I think, would be a really fun veteran piece to add. You're definitely only getting 1 year. Like, he's about to retire. But that's a guy that I like. That's a name to watch for a potential Lions ad at edge. But Rasheed Walker, remember the name. I think he is going to be the guy that I'm prioritizing for the Lions. What about Brad Holmes? What's he going to prioritize? Are you comfortable letting Brad Holmes cook? I think that's the number one question this morning, because that's what the Lions are going into. Right before today's show, they clear up enough cap space to add some potentially significant players to this 2026 team, and I'm getting the vibe that they're potentially going all in on this season, which is something they haven't done yet as far as this window conversation that we continue to have with Detroit. 989-837-6125. What do you think? Are you cool with Brad Holmes cooking here? Do you like that they cleared up this cap space as far as, are they going to make a huge move? Are they just going to bring back their own guys? Are they going to make a series of moves to add a bunch of depth? Because there's still plenty of different positions of need for Detroit. Let us know, 989-837-6125. You can also comment in our YouTube or Facebook chat. We're live there. Just search 100.9 The Mitt if you want to watch us. John Vicari producing today. No Ben Bosscher for the rest of the week. You're stuck with us. I know Ben's probably got a ton of fuming free agency takes today. Don't worry, though. We're still going to get to one of Ben's takes today, because if you follow Ben on Twitter, he posted a top 26 Detroit sports figures of 2026. Right, on vacation, just making a crazy in-depth list. I love to see that. We're going to react to it. John and I are going to react to it. That's coming up in the 10 o'clock hour. We're also going to talk about Michigan basketball, who got basically sweeping the awards in the Big Ten, which I thought was pretty cool. And then we got to discuss the World Baseball Classic stuff, because pretty terrible loss last night from Team US over Team Italy. And they can miss the whole thing. They can miss the tournament coming out of pool play, which would just be detrimental for at least guys like me and John, who are really tapped in to the World Baseball Classic. I also want to ask Lions fans, let me know about the Brad Holmes situation. Which Lions loss hurts the most as far as who is left so far in free agency? You have Alex Anzalone, you have Taylor Decker, Khalif Raymond is going to the Bears. I do not love that. Which one of those hurts the most? Let us know in the YouTube chat. Text us 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. The 9 o'clock hour, as always, is presented to you by Iron Stack Technologies. You know, we talk about game plans and execution on this show. That's exactly how Iron Stack approaches IT. They help businesses stay secure, efficient, and ready for what's next, so you can focus on your mission instead of your technology. Ironstack Technology, solution-driven, mission-focused. You can check them out at ironstacktechnology.com.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The... by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in to the Ben Bosscher Show with Kyle Sandel and John Vicari. We're talking Lions this morning. Jared Goff's contract is restructured. What are they going to do with the cap space? We're excited to find out. Let's see what you guys have to say. Contrarian texting in. All right, 989-837-6125. I wonder if we could sign Decker back for less, he says. Interesting. I don't think so, right? I mean, I don't understand why they would have cut him in the first place to clear that cap if they were just going to clear the cap with Jared Goff's restructure anyways. To me, it felt like the Decker thing was they went into the offseason clearly thinking that he was going to retire. He didn't retire. Oh, man. Now we got to figure this thing out. That's how I feel about the Decker situation.
I'm good.
Yeah, right, yeah, we're good. We're getting another text in here, 989-837-6125. I asked the question about what is the biggest loss as far as all these guys leaving for the Lions. Alex Anzalone, Taylor Decker, Amik Robertson, David Montgomery, Khalif Raymond, Roy Lopez. Those are like the main six. I'm not going to throw Kyle Allen in there. Monty for sure coming from Sir. Yeah, I mean, Montgomery was probably at least the biggest fan favorite, right? But I've already kind of moved off of Montgomery. That's my whole take here, is that he was the first guy to go. It made sense to trade him. They got good return for him. So to me, Montgomery, I'm like not that really pressed about it from a Lions fan and from an impact standpoint, who they also brought in Isaiah Pacheco. So I think it's a pretty good replacement. I'm cool on the Montgomery stuff. From the impact standpoint, Taylor Decker or Alex Anzalone has got to be the answer as far as which one hurts the most. Decker probably being the leader there. Left tackle is just absolutely the Lions' biggest need right now. And he has been with the Lions his whole career. I mean, he's the longest tenured Lion. I was like a kid, basically, when Taylor Decker was drafted. He's been here his whole career, and he's fit the Lions' culture stuff. He gets emotional when the Lions became good again and saw a lot of different eras of coaches here and GMs in Detroit. I know that it hasn't been like a fun process of fandom with Taylor Decker over the last couple of weeks because some Lions fans have gotten a little bit bugged out with him, and Michael in our YouTube chat saying, you know, Decker's probably going to go to the Bears or Packers to stick it to the Lions. Yeah, that would hurt. Like, Taylor Decker is a fan favorite. So from an impact standpoint and just from a fandom thing, Decker being gone probably feels like the biggest Lions loss. Anzalone really turned his game around in Detroit after starting his career in New Orleans. He was fine in New Orleans, but that first year with the Lions when they were really bad under Dan Campbell, Anzalone was bad. I mean, I think I have a couple of tweets from that season where I was just like, can they cut Anzalone in the middle of the game? Like, he was so terrible. And he has turned himself into like a really good linebacker in this league. I mean, a reason why he left, because he got paid by Tampa. So Anzalone one hurts. Amik Robertson, from a depth perspective, yeah, you'd love to have that guy back. Rock Yassin does get brought back yesterday, so at least they do add some, but bring back some secondary pieces from last year's squad. Roy Lopez was great last year, but he was here for one season. I thought they were going to try to bring him back, but you have Tyreek Williams. You have Aleem McNeil. I don't think it's the end of the world. My answer, though, is the fun one. Khalif Raymond going to the Bears, I can't really get over that one. And it's not like Khalif Raymond is like this humongous impact on the Lions. He returned punts. He's had a punt return for a touchdown the last 2 seasons. That's great. Like, I think that totally is an impact for the Lions. Played that wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 spot. They drafted Isaac Tesla, so they do have his replacement, you could say. I know they're not the same style of receiver, but it's mainly just that he goes to the Bears, and he joins Ben Johnson. He joins Antoine Randall. That just bugs me. It stings, and especially if Decker goes there, then I'll really be upset. But Khalif Raymond going to the Bears, I think, is my favorite Lions. Not my favorite. It would be my least favorite Lions loss. Davis texting in, the correct answer is Roy Lopez as far as biggest Lion leaving. I mean, I don't know. I still think this is Khalif Raymond. From an impact standpoint, it's got to be Taylor Decker.
Does that guy just watch the D-line the whole game or what? Nah, man, it's Roy Lopez. That's probably a PFF subscriber right there.
Yeah. And the love for the love for Taylor Decker is just not there either. Stephanie says all of them minus Taylor Decker.
Love that.
People are just out on Decker now, huh?
Underperformed. Whole retirement thing.
I think the retirement thing is the reason why. You know, that's the part that I for sure think he's the biggest loss, though, just because he plays such an important position that they still haven't replaced, and we're still waiting on it.
It's Monty, in my opinion.
You think it's Montgomery?
If he's in this group.
He is. I mean, I know it was pre-free agency, but yeah, he totally is.
Yeah, like, just to have, and not that, the Lions were utilizing him to the fullest extent, especially late. Obviously, debacle with the OCs, and now it's different. And I think Pacheco could be a factor, but I don't think to the extent Montgomery was at his best.
I think that's kind of the whole point, though, right? Like, I think the point is to bring in a guy that isn't going to have as much of a workload as Montgomery.
Well, they trust Gibbs more.
Yeah, exactly, because they just want Gibbs to be full RB1. Like, I honestly kind of really like the trading Montgomery, because the reason why it doesn't hurt so much for me is they actually got something in return for him. All these other 5 guys are just gone. They're just leaving in free agency. They traded Montgomery and got a 4th for him. And then Juice Scruggs, who you never know, he might be a depth piece, but mainly the 4th-round pick. You saved money, and then you're allowing Gibbs to really rock into that RB1 role. Isaiah Pacheco, I mean, you watch this guy play for the Chiefs, and you're just like, you see his feet. The guy runs harder than anyone does. Like, he is like truly trying to damage the turf when he runs. It's kind of an interesting style of running back he is. So I think he's going to totally fit the Lions culture in this downhill run style offense. I'm in with Isaiah Pacheco in Detroit. Is he going to be as productive as Montgomery? No. Like, to John's point, he certainly won't be. But I still will lean Khalif Raymond, and that's for sure just the Lions fan in me. And it's the I hate the Bears fan in me.
That's also the Ben Bosscher working with him every day because, man, when that guy was going through we're bringing him back, he's so needed. He's a number 3 receiver, man. They got Sam Laporta at tight end. They got Gibbs as a receiver. Raymond could go out the door. And if he was this dynamic punt returner, and believe me, he was a former Giant. Like, I've seen him. If he was this dynamic punt returner, I get it. Never once. Was there one touchdown last year from a punt return?
Yeah, he had one.
He had one?
Yeah, he had one the year before, too.
One
I mean,
touchdown.
that's pretty good.
One touchdown a year. I'll take Tesla.
He was a second-team All-Pro return guy 2 seasons ago.
It doesn't move the needle.
Okay. John's not in on Khalif Raymond. It's just because the
just
Bears
not.
thing. It's just the Bears thing for me.
That's a big part of it. Like, you don't want to see him go to a rival. But I promise you, Lions fans, he's not going to turn to Devin Hester with the Bears. He's not.
I guess that's a good point. If he would have went to Green Bay or Minnesota, it still wouldn't have cared. It's just because of Ben Johnson and Antoine Randall. That's just the part that I'm just like, that's why if Decker goes there, I'm really going to be upset. And to Michael's point in the YouTube chat, yeah, if Decker goes to the Bears to stick it to the Lions, if you want to call it, yeah, that is going to be pretty tough. Ben calling you out in the YouTube chat, by the way. One of 3 players with a punt return touchdown last year, Jonathan.
Nice. So it shows he's less valuable if 2 other guys could do it.
Just nobody's returning punts then, I guess. That's interesting.
Who are the other guys? Are they back?
989-837-6125. Let us know who is the biggest loss for the Lions. Let us know as well with this $32 million that the Lions have cleared up, Jared Goff restructure. What do you want him to do? Do you want him to go after an edge rusher, one of these vet guys? I want him to go after Rasheed Walker, the left tackle of Green Bay. I just think that establishing the offensive line back to what it used to be is the most important thing for the Lions to get back to the Super Bowl. And it feels like they want to get back to the Super Bowl. They've created this cap space to go add either a huge signing, a bunch of medium type of signings, depth guys, or just to pay their own guys. I don't know what's going to happen. That's what I'm excited to see, though. Let us know what you think is going to happen. 989-837-6125. We're going to talk about this Max Crosby thing next, too, by the way, because what a weird situation. We see this happen every once in a while, but not to this level of a star player with basically a week that had gone by, 2 first-round picks involved, a bunch of signings that are now like up in the air of how are they going to figure this one out. We're going to discuss this, and I don't know who the true loser is. Are the Ravens the loser of this? Are the Raiders the loser? Are they both? I don't know. We're going to talk about it next. 989-837-6125. You can let us know in our YouTube chat as well. The Ben Bosscher Show is, as always, brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Protect your home with Bresky Siding and Building Repair, the experts who do the job right the first time. Got a leaky roof, storm damage, siding looking a little tired. I mean, we got a storm last night, John. It was raining everywhere. When we were leaving this place, we just got pouring rained on.
And lucky for this place, I closed the door that was open here on the 3rd level. If not, there would have been chairs all over the place. Got to lock doors around here, folks.
Yeah, shout out to John for doing that. Well, if your place was damaged by a storm yesterday, Bresky's got you covered. Locally owned, trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and a service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today and keep your home strong for years to come.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9. Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Hey, it's Big Win Wednesday as well here on the Ben Bosscher Show. At 10:15, we're going to be giving away the keyword to text in to 989-337-6125. Got a chance to win $100 in forward gas cards, so that's at 10:15 a.m. Be prepared for that. Right now, though, I want to talk about this Max Crosby thing just for a couple of minutes because this is one of the weirdest. I mean, we talked about in the open just what a weird day of sports it was yesterday. The stuff that happened in baseball and basketball, but this football story with Crosby, pretty unheard of. You've seen this happen a few times in the last couple of seasons where a trade gets made and then it gets backed out of. This happened in the NBA at the trade deadline a couple years ago, but never with a guy to Max Crosby's caliber. The trade happened on Friday as well. Like it was Tuesday night when this happened. Free agency, 2 days of it had already gone by. A ton of signings were made by both sides. The Ravens had 9 different players leave their team in free agency. And, of course, they couldn't re-sign all of those guys because they were bringing in Max Crosby's $30 million contract. The Raiders paid a ton of guys. They gave Tyler Lindenbaum, who ironically came from the Ravens, the biggest center contract in NFL history. And they paid a ton of other players as well because they had to get to that salary floor number. And now it's just like, hey, here's this $30 million and Max Crosby back. And you don't get these first-round picks anymore. I just have never seen something like this, John, with a guy like Max Crosby this many days removed from the trade and the implications of it all. Like, what's going to happen? I have no idea what's going to happen with Crosby.
Well, this has to be partly, too, right? He has a Raiders tattoo, and I guess he was like, do I really get a Ravens? Do I really have 2 tattoos on my body for 2 different NFL organizations? No, yeah, this was crazy. I mean, we were in the middle of the high school game yesterday, and that came across the notifications, and I was like, wow, like that came out of nowhere. And what? It's a failed physical?
Failed physical is the reason, and obviously it has to be to the extent that the Ravens were willing to call this whole thing off. And of course, they react by signing Trey Hendrickson this morning, which is like, I guess, a good counter move to make less than 24 hours later. But
yeah, not bad.
But, like, I mean, and you get to save those first-round picks. But, man, at the end of the day, like, how bad is his physical? Is he not going to be able to play this season? Max Crosby's agency came out and said that he's going to be, like, it's a meniscus, I believe. He's been fully recovered from his meniscus injury, and it's nothing that they're concerned about and this and that. But I'm just like, if they're willing to call this whole trade off after 2 days of free agency has gone by, this has to be somewhat serious.
I have heard, though, Kyle, you know who does a good job at repairing meniscuses? If that's the plural for it.
Menisci, maybe?
Menisci. Some doctors in Michigan. That's what I've heard. U of M, MSU's got a great, health program too. So I think they could help.
Is this a joke you're making?
Yeah.
Yeah. Eastern Michigan grad, Max Crosby.
There you go. I'm sure they have
yeah.
I'm sure they have a medical program.
Max Crosby Field down there in Ypsilanti.
Really?
Yeah.
Your favorite place in the MAC, I've heard, right?
No, it's the ugliest place in the entire. It could be the ugliest place in the country. Yeah, that
Wow.
gray field, just ridiculous. They've really embraced that. Yeah, Max Crosby is going back to the Raiders for now. They have to trade him again, right? But the issue is that you're not going to get the amount of draft capital that you got. You're not going to get 2 firsts. There's no chance the team gives up 2 firsts after the Ravens were like, we're good. They pulled a Brad Holmes. Like, we're good. We don't want him. The Cowboys reportedly offered a first and a second to trade for Max Crosby. I don't know if that means they're going to get back involved in this thing, which, man, if they end up turning Micah Parsons into Max Crosby, Quinnen Williams, and I think they would still have a little bit of draft capital on top of that, and Kenny Clark, like, that'd be pretty insane. But, yeah, this is it's just so unprecedented. You've never seen somebody like this with this caliber of trade getting called back. We got a YouTube chat here. Gary says, who are the Raiders sending to the airport to greet Max when he lands in Vegas? Like, hey, Max, what's up? Yeah, how does that process even work? Like, the Raiders had to put on this face of just like, because they didn't cancel this trade. The Ravens did. So the Raiders are just like, oh, okay. What's up, Max Crosby? Welcome back into the building. Like, that's got to be the most awkward thing ever.
Hey, it was strictly business, and I would tell him, hey, be as good as 2 first-round picks, all right? For our 3-win franchise this year.
Like, what's Tom Brady? What's Tom Brady doing in all of this situation? Is he freaking out? Is he happy?
He's calling Fernando Mendoza and saying, "Look, we got him."
this is all part of the plan.
Yeah, it's all part of the plan.
We spent all this money because we knew Crosby was actually going to come back.
The NFL's thinking, what are the Raiders doing? Wait, they sent him try to pull one over on the Ravens because he has a meniscus? What do they know?
The funniest outcome for this is if the Raiders just keep Crosby because his value has just dropped in any sort of trade, and then they're just good this season. And Crosby, of course, has like a spectacular year. That would be the funniest outcome of all of this. I love this YouTube chat from Ryan because this was my first thought, especially this morning. Joe Burrow, once again, just a major loser. He had about 12 hours, 16 hours of, oh, thank God, at least I have one team that doesn't have an elite edge rusher. And then his own teammate, Trey Hendrickson, is just the Max Crosby replacement in Baltimore. Like, just hilarious stuff going on with that Max Crosby situation. 989-837-6125. Yeah, Joe Burrow. Dating Jessica Alba, though, so how much
is that confirmed now, dating?
I saw an Instagram post about it. I probably shouldn't believe it, but I'm willing to go there. You know, why not? Like, it's cool enough.
Then not a loser.
Not a loser. On the football field, loser. Off the field, doing pretty good things. We're talking about this Jared Goff contract restructure throughout the day today. We're going to figure out what the Lions are going to do with the rest of this cap space. 4 p.m. today is the official start of the league renewal year. That's when deals can become official, so it's not like anything that hasn't already happened isn't going to happen. Just the deals that have been agreed upon throughout the first going to be 2.5 days of free agency can finally be signed. Lions haven't done anything crazy so far. They got their starting center in Cade Mays. They brought in an RB2 in Isaiah Pacheco, who I'm honestly a pretty big fan of as far as the value of that contract. I think it's a pretty good David Montgomery replacement. It allows Jahmyr Gibbs to fully step in and be RB1, but you still have that alleviating pressure in Isaiah Pacheco to back him up. I'm a huge fan of that. They bring back Rock Yassin. They bring back Malcolm Rodriguez. And the big one, Teddy Two Gloves is back in Detroit, man. This is pretty fun. His Detroit tenure has been so odd. He, of course, was the backup quarterback, and then he rocked number 50 in preseason, which is my favorite thing about Teddy Bridgewater because you've never seen a quarterback rock that number. I wish they would let him do it in a real regular season. They didn't, of course. He goes and coaches high school football and then comes back to Detroit out of retirement to be the backup. Then last year he goes to be the backup in Tampa Bay, never plays, and now he's back in Detroit. Like, how many times is this guy going to unretire, re-retire, whatever you want to call it? He's back with the Lions, which I love because Jameson Williams always credited Teddy Bridgewater to like being his vet on the team a couple of years ago, and Jameson Williams has turned into an awesome player for the Lions. So you got to give Teddy Bridgewater a ton of credit for that. Excited to have him back as the quarterback too. Still, though, a ton of needs for the Lions throughout the rest of free agency. You got to find your left tackle. I don't think it's Larry Borum. Maybe you're doing it in the first round of the draft, but I just don't love going into the draft saying, that's what we're going to take, left tackle, no matter what. Boom, that's our first-round pick. When you don't even know the guy and you're picking in the middle of the first round, that's something you can really only do if you're picking in the top 5, probably top 3. So I would like them to add that with this created cap space in free agency. I think that's got to be the number one priority. You're still looking for your edge across of Aiden Hutchinson. You can go get a vet in Cam Jordan, who that's a guy that I like. Yes, he's super old. It's going to be like his final year in the NFL, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Joey Bosa's out there still. Al-Qadim Muhammad could just be brought back, too. Maybe that's a reason why they're bringing in this cap space. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, depending on what the value is for Muhammad compared to those other veteran guys that you can address. Still need to add some depth in the secondary, and another linebacker has to be brought in. But I think with this created cap space, it's going to give Brad Holmes a chance to let Brad cook, which is something that a lot of Lions fans haven't loved over the last couple of years. But whether or not you like it or not, it's what's going to happen here. So we'll let you know if we get any updates throughout the show. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're going to hit the news when we return. John's going to tell us what's going on and what was a wild day of sports yesterday. Bam Adebayo scored 83 points, man. I mean, that's literally ridiculous. That's coming up next. Hey, let's talk about the Greater Midland Community Center. They're your hub for health, wellness, and fun right in the heart of Midland. Ben always talks about how he's got his men's league over there. He's missing the playoffs in his men's league at the community center this week with missing the show. I mean, talk about just a terrible. Wow. You're right. I mean, that's just a brutal time to be gone. From fitness classes and open gym to swimming, youth sports, and family activities, there's something for everyone. Affordable memberships, expert staff, and a welcoming space for all ages and abilities. Hosting an event? Ask about their rental spaces and full-service event support. Stay active, stay connected, all under one roof at the Greater Midland Community Center. Learn more or sign up today at greatermidland.org.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.